I didn't have a great deal of respect for modelling.
Why?
I just didn't. I just didn't think it was something that it didn't do anything for me. It was very good to me, and I'm grateful to it for what it gave me. And I did it for a decade, and it was, you know, it was fun. But I didn't actually enjoy the actual act of it, and I found that there was a lot of really sort of ridiculous people that I couldn't take seriously a lot of the time, and some of the conversations I was privy to, I just found it a bit ridiculous, to be honest, and I just had very little interest in it, and I didn't want to be in my 40s doing it. I had no appeal to me at all to be doing it beyond. I just thought it's a fun thing to do in my 20s. I literally started when I was 20, finished when I was 30, and I thought that's a cool thing to do for a decade, you know, and get paid to have your photograph taken and, you know, travel the world. And, but then I just thought things need to get serious, and that was mostly down, pretty much all down to meeting Millie, my wife, who I met when I was 27. I was still modelling a bit, but I was trying to kind of act, and I was conscious of that thing of model/actor, model turning into actor, and I wanted to try to do work that, you know, was as far away from that idea as possible. But it's quite hard to come by. If you have spent a decade getting your photograph taken, you're sort of put forward for very particular types of roles. But when I met Millie, and I knew the night I met her that I was going to marry her, so I thought, I just have to get a bit serious here, and being serious to me wasn't to continue modelling.
But you say the night you met Millie, you knew you wanted to marry her.
100%, yeah.
Was that your epiphany moment?
I didn't tell her that. That would have been a bit too strong, I think, as an opener. It was definitely an epiphany moment. I feel like you'll have a few of those in your life, and it was yeah. Truth be told, I knew who she was before, and I'd always fancied her. I had this weird thing where I always felt that if I met her, that we would just get on. It's a very strange thing. Something about like her eyes or something. I just thought like we would work. I don't know why. So then when I knew she was going to be at this house party in LA in February 2010, I got up to that house party pretty fast.
Let me ask you something. Do you still tell her this?
I tell my wife I love her 10 times a day. I do. I think that's really important. I don't do it because I think that's what she should do as a husband. I do that because that's what I think.
Well, now that she knows you so well,
yeah,
does she tell you 10 times a day that she loves you? 7
or 8, probably. I think I get a few sort of no responses.
Success didn't come overnight for you, no, in terms of being an actor. You had your tough times, and then you had a minor role in Marie Antoinette, I think, etc. Enter Alan Cubitt, the man behind The Fall, which was filmed in Belfast, which became a very highly rated series in Belfast. How did that happen?
A lot of, like, very rarely does stuff that's set here come across your lap that isn't directly about the Troubles. And I've sent these scripts, and you know, you hear actors saying this all the time, but I really do mean this. They were the best scripts I'd ever read. Now, I was sent them, I think I was sent the first 3 episodes, and it was to play one of the police officers who dies at the end of the 2nd episode. But at that time in my career, playing a police officer in a BBC series who dies after 2 episodes was a really good gig. You know, I was like, that's a great thing. I've never done anything for the BBC. I must have had, you know, dozens and dozens of auditions for BBC. I've never had a sniff at anything, really. I thought this would be great. I'd go in. I'd met Alan before. We had a couple of mutual friends in London. So I'd met him socially before. So it was, when I went in, it was nice there because he was a friendly face. I did the audition. I'm a terrible auditioner. I've never in my life come out of an audition that I thought went well. I've always just gone, well, that's a waste of everyone's time. And it was the first audition I ever came out of where I went, you know what, that was all right. I think that was all right. I think I did well there. So I was going out to LA for pilot season immediately, after the audition I'd had, or 2 weeks after the audition I'd had for the fall. And the idea was we would rent the house for 4 weeks, and I'd stay out there the whole time, try to get a job. And after 4 days of being out there, committed to this rental property in LA and stuff, after 4 days they called me and said, we want you to come back and audition for Spectre. Now, I had planned to propose to my then girlfriend at the time, so I thought I'd do that at some stage over the month. I ended up having to do it slightly earlier, and we were on a flight within a week back to London, and then, yeah, the rest is history.